Nobody cares that you have so many certificates. To be honest, I literally cried the first day that I went for this type of internship. You should never ever pay for these type of internships. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Divijabhasin, also known as Awkward Good 3 on Instagram. I'm sorry for not making any YouTube videos. I literally have no excuse, but I also have a lot of excuses. For example, earlier I didn't really have that much of space to shoot videos because I used to stay with my parents and I didn't have my own studio room kind of thing. And I recently got married, and now I have my own house, and now suddenly I have a lot of space to make videos. So now I feel a little more free to make videos. I don't know why I'm swaying so much. I know why, it's because I'm nervous. Anyway, I moved out, I got married, I made a friend. Say hi. Hello. That's a goat, by the way. Okay, enough about me, let's get into the video now. Before we start, I would recommend making the speed go up to 1.25 or 1.5 because I sometimes talk really slowly when I'm trying to make my thought around. Yeah. So this video is about my thoughts on psychology internships in India and whether you should pay for them or expect them to pay you. I'm making this because when I was a psychology student, I was so lost and there was literally no guidance. I really hope that this video provides some clarity to you. Also, all the things that I say in this video are going to be my opinions based on my experiences. Your experiences might be different, and I'm not trying to encourage or discourage anyone. Okay, I'm trying to encourage you, but also I'm going to be really realistic. So that might sound like discouragement, but I'm just trying to make sure that you know everything. So, if you're a psychology student, I'm sure you already know. Unlike other industries, when somebody says paid psychology internship, they don't mean you getting paid, it means that we have to pay them. And it's like impossible to find paid psychology internships where you're the one getting paid. Now, I've been working in this field for the past 4 years, and obviously, I was also a psychology student once. Not once, actually, I was a psychology student for 3 years of Bachelor's of Psychology, 2 years of Masters, and 1 year of another Masters in the UK. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I have experience of both the sides, being a working professional and also being a student. I have a mental health organization myself called the Friendly Couch. I have a team of counseling and clinical psychologists, and we provide therapy to clients. This is our super cute website, you can have a look. We only offer therapy right now, we don't have any internship program. I know a lot of people want me to start one, but you'll understand why I haven't at the end of this video. So should psychology students be paying for internships or should they be the ones getting paid for them? The answer is not really direct. When I was a student, I was really enthusiastic about these internships. I used to think that they're super important for my life, and I'm sure that's how you feel too if you're a psychology student. I even did a lot of them thinking that it'll help with my career. Now, did these internships help? Not really, I don't know. Let me explain. First, let's understand the kind of internships that are available in the field in India. So, most of the internships that are available in India in the field of psychology are either by private practitioners, that is like private therapists like me, or like mental health organizations like the Friendly Couch, or by big hospitals like AIMS, Fortis, etc. You might also see some internships by people who are not even psychologists, and they're just exploiting psychology students. Don't ever do psychology internships if they're not run by psychologists. They're often exploitative, especially by engineers and MBA graduates. But that's just my experience. I'm sure there are exceptions. Your experience might be different. So the first type of psychology internships is social media internships. This is where they make you write blogs or make social media posts for their page. Maybe you'll be writing content on mental health disorders, therapy, things like that. These type of internships should never ever take money from students because they're literally like marketing interns. If you are the one providing the organization with value, you're the one providing the organization with content, right? That means that the organization is benefiting from your work, which means that they should be paying you. When you write blogs and things like that, that means that they are using you for marketing and their business is going to increase because of you. It doesn't matter if you're a student. If they are using you for marketing, you should be getting paid for it. Unfortunately, there are many organizations that take advantage of the fact that students don't really know that they should be getting paid for this and they exploit them. Never ever pay for these type of internships. Are you listening to me? Never. You can do them for free. I would advise not to, but it's your choice. Maybe for experience, if you want to, you can. Usually such internships, if they're making you do work for free, they give you a certificate in return. when you're a student, certificates mean a lot to us. I know it sounds cool, it makes you sound like you're doing things in life, but in reality, in the actual field, nobody cares that you have so many certificates. Mostly, people who hire therapists, they do not care about certificates. I personally have never done such internships where I have to do social media blog post kind of thing. I did have a blog writing job where I was writing blogs on parenting, but I was getting paid for that. So don't ever pay for such internships. They're not internships, they're exploitationships. Now, the second type of internships. These are the workshop type of internships that are actually pretending to be internships. These are probably the most common type of internship that you'll find in the field. Here, they'll be teaching you stuff maybe from a PPT, and like it'll be like a classroom setting. They might teach you about disorders, about how to take case history. These things are usually included in your master's syllabus. They're quite expensive, and again, I don't really get the point. Why are they calling it an internship? You literally sit and they show you slides and teach you. These are things that you usually learn in college. I have fallen for these internships as well when I was a student. Really popular psychologists and mental health organizations and humongous hospitals that everybody has heard of, they offer such internships. Or should I say internships. And it's extremely expensive. Now I understand why they're taking money from the students in exchange of this type of internship, because it's not an internship, it's a training program or like a seminar kind of setup. So like the person who is teaching has to get paid and they're actually doing work. They're the ones providing value, maybe not questionable value, but still value to the students. The students are not working in this situation. So I get why they're the ones asking for the money and not paying the students, because why would you get paid to be a student, like to learn in a classroom? And usually you get a certificate in return of these saying that you attended this so and so internship. Again, this type of certificate doesn't really matter unless you're learning something really out of the ordinary, like a specific niche therapy modality, or like about a certain branch of psychology that you would never learn about in your classroom. Basically, something outside your usual syllabus. I personally do not think that it's worth the amount that they charge. I have paid like from 2000 rupees to 11,000 rupees for such internships when I was a student, and it's really not worth it. I went for one about certain disorders. I did an internship where they were just teaching the same stuff that it's like a tuition. Then there is a third kind of internship, which is the most internship an internship can be. Here, they teach you how to take therapy. They make you interact with clients. One of the downsides of this kind of internship is that the most common type of this type of internship is where they make you sit with a psychiatrist. At least in my experience, all the internships that I did, they always made me sit with a psychiatrist and not a psychologist. I don't understand why they would do that, because a psychology student is not going to work the same way as a psychiatrist. My experience with such internships was quite odd. I didn't really get to learn how to talk to clients or anything. I just got to observe them like lab rats. I found the whole thing really strange and I had to pay for it, a lot of money. And the way the psychiatrists used to talk to the clients, or should I say patients, because like their relationship, the psychiatrist and patient relationship is not the same as the psychologist and client relationship. It was very different from how psychologists would talk to a client. For example, psychiatrists are really quick in the way they talk to clients. Like the client would come in and they'll just talk to them for 5 minutes, diagnose them and give them the medicine. There was no like rapport formation, empathy, things like that. It was completely like a doctor's consultation. I did 3 such internships. So one was at a really big hospital, which is like very reputable, and 2 of them were at mental health organizations. My experience with the psychiatrist was the same in all. I'm not saying that psychiatrists are bad or anything, it's just the way they work is this way and it's not the same as a psychologist. And yeah, I had to pay for this, which again kind of makes sense because they're letting me sit there and they have to like make sure there is a chair. What I didn't like about these internships was that they didn't really prepare us or teach us about ethics or anything at all. They just like pushed us into the room and we would just observe the consultations. To be honest, I literally cried the first day that I went for this type of internship. It's because I didn't know how to react and I didn't know what to expect because nobody told me what to do. It was really overwhelming to see how people suffer. I couldn't like be objective because of course I'm an inexperienced student at that point. And if they're going to make us like witness such intense disorders in real life for the first time, I think the least they could have done is at least mentally prepare us, emotionally prepare us to know what to expect. It was really difficult to process that information as a student. I would prefer to be given a little bit of more training and guidance and support, especially because I'm paying for such an internship. But that's just me and my experience. Now it's incredibly hard to find internships where they let you sit with the psychologist in a therapy session. When I was a student, I used to find this really frustrating. I would really want to sit in therapy sessions to understand how it happens, and it was just sad that I couldn't find any internships like this. I am low-key glad that at least in bachelor's time I did not get to have such internships, because I don't think I would have found that much value in it. Even though I was a really enthusiastic student, I think I would have maybe romanticized, trivialized, and gotten affected by witnessing therapy sessions. It's really hard to find internships where you get to sit and observe a therapy session because of the basic nature of therapy. Therapy is built on the foundation of ethics and confidentiality. If you want psychology students to sit and observe a session with you as a therapist, you have to follow a very strict protocol, which I'm sure is very difficult to do. You have to prepare the student mentally, emotionally, give them the information, teach them basics of therapy. And lastly, the most difficult part is that you have to take the consent of the client. Now, why is this tricky? Because sometimes a client may say yes, that they are okay with a student sitting in the session, and maybe they said that because they just want to please their therapist, or maybe because they're a major people pleaser and that's just a symptom of their problem. And while they have consented to it, it doesn't mean that they're comfortable with it. So the student sitting in the session might get in the way of the actual therapy, and we don't want that. And sometimes they might say yes and then later realize that they're actually getting affected by the student being there, but then they don't know how to say no anymore. So it's actually quite complicated. Given the nature of therapy, an intern can actually disrupt the therapy environment just by being there. So I kind of get why we got to sit with psychiatrists and not psychologists. But I also understand that how else are students going to learn if not observing? So it's actually really difficult. That's why I don't offer any internships yet, because I don't know how to navigate this problem. I don't want clients to get affected by interns sitting in the session. At the same time, I want students to learn how to do therapy, because that's the only way they'll actually learn how to do proper therapy. Thankfully, after I was done with my master's, I was able to find an opportunity to observe sessions with a therapist, and slowly that person allowed me to take the sessions while being there in the session, and the clients were okay with it. And that's how I was supervised and trained to do therapy. And that's how I think all psychology students should learn. And in this case, I think it's kind of okay to pay for getting trained and supervised, because that therapist is going to kind of guide you and they're going to be putting in a lot of effort, and that is value being provided to you, and you're not really providing any value to the therapist. But if the student starts taking sessions independently, I don't think it makes sense for the student to be paying the therapist anymore, because then the student is now providing value to the organization, so they should be getting paid instead. Do you get what I mean? Apart from this last type of internship where I was observing sessions with the therapist, I never really got to do therapy, or learn how to interact with clients. All the other workshop style internships that I did and the internships where I sat with psychiatrists, I didn't learn to do the actual part of the job. Yeah, I kind of learned how a hospital works, but then I don't know if that information is valid or useful for me at this stage of my life. Those type of internships didn't really increase my job opportunities either. They mostly only taught me things that I already knew from my textbook. Was it worth the money that I paid? Not really. I mean, I don't think paying 11,000 to a hospital is worth it to sit with the psychiatrist when I'm not even going to become a psychiatrist. Nor is it worth to pay 4 grand to be shown PPTs of things that I can probably learn from a book myself. But I think internships can be worth paying for if you're actually getting trained under a psychologist, actually learning therapy skills in some way that a college wouldn't teach you. I would 100% pay for an internship if they're teaching me something that I can't Google. You can't Google how to do therapy. I mean, you can, but the answer will not really help. The experience that comes with observing sessions is the only experience, or is mostly the experience that you're going to be using in your life as a therapist. There are a lot of different kinds of internships out there, and even though I'm all up for students getting paid for internships, I understand, I kind of get why they don't get paid, because psychology students are unfortunately not taught enough skills in their college level to actually provide value to these organizations. Apart from content writing, they can't particularly contribute that much to the whole therapy setup. There are some clinics and places where psychology students are made to write case history of the clients, which I don't really understand, because why is a student doing that? But apart from that, I'm not sure how a psychology student would be able to provide enough value to an organization for them to pay them. Because, like, let's be honest, a therapy system, a hospital, it's all business. They need to earn money. So basically, it is very simple. The person who provides the value, they are the ones who get paid. It could either be the therapist or the student. When should you do these internships? The social media blog type of internships, I think it's okay to do such internships during your bachelor's level, but make sure that you do proper research while writing these blogs, and make sure that you don't spread misinformation or trivialize mental health. For attending workshop type of internships, you can do it at any level, like bachelor's or master's. I personally think it's better to do internships at the master's level because you have more knowledge and experience, and generally you're a little bit more mature by that point. I did that hospital internship where I cried for the first time when I was in my bachelor's, and I don't think bachelor students should be allowed to do such internships, and it's really odd that hospitals take money and make the little kids basically, like, bachelor students are not little kids, but still little kids compared to master students. I don't think that they're mentally ready to be sitting there, and I don't think that they get anything out of the whole experience, and I'm not sure it's good for the patients either. Observership and hospital type of internships, I think you should do only during your masters and maybe like towards the end of it, because that's when you know everything, like you know more about therapy and about the client and therapist relationship. Ideally, colleges should probably allow students to do therapy sessions for free and provide them with training so that they learn how to do therapy while also getting the experience, and then provide a stipend to them once they are trained enough. Kind of like a doctor. That's what happens at the MPhil level, or should I say the Masters of Clinical Psychology level, or whatever that new degree is by RCI. That's a topic for another video. I hope our system improves and students are able to get the skills and the money that they deserve. Anyway, I hope this video provided some clarity on the psychology internship scene in India. Let me know what kind of internships you've done and if you found something useful and valuable. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, comment, and share this video with other people who you think might benefit from it. Say bye. Bye.